Everyone, welcome to tonight's City Council meeting. I'll call the meeting to order. We have tonight our invocation and Pledge of Allegiance. Tonight we have Elder Jim Smith, Smitty Smith, you told me, from the Calvary Chapel. He will lead us in our invocation, and then please remain standing for our Pledge of Allegiance.
Dear God, our Heavenly Father, before this meeting begins, we want to bow our hearts before you and humbly acknowledge that you are all-knowing, all-wise, and the only true God. We say thank you for the city of Casa Grande. Thank you for Mayor McFarland and each member of the council. Thank you for the economic growth and the population growth that we are experiencing. We lift up tonight's meeting, and I ask that you would give wisdom to each of those that are here. We pray that Casa Grande would flourish. We pray that Casa Grande would always be a place where freedom would be valued, where there would be healthy families, strong marriages, great local businesses, and a wonderful communities of faith. We pray all this in the name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Please join me for the pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Lavender. The roll call show that all members of the council are present.
So noted.
We have the minutes, number C on our agenda.
Mayor McFarland, I move to approve the minutes of the council regular meeting minutes of November 6, 2023, the Arts and Humanities Commission regular meeting minutes of October 8, 2023, the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting minutes of October 5, 2023, and the Planning and Zoning Commission minutes of October 19, 2023.
Second.
All right, a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, the minutes are approved as presented. Next is our claims against the city.
Mayor McFarland, I move to accept and pay the claims dated November 1st through 14th, 2023 as presented.
Second.
All right, a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, the claims are approved. The meeting agenda approval. I do have a couple of changes that I want to put up. Does anybody else have any changes before I throw my 2 cents in? I want to move item G11 off of the consent agenda. Is that done now, or do we do it? Yeah, we can do it.
Normally during consent, but you can do it now as
Okay, well, because I'm changing it, so let's move item G11 and G16 to be presented in its normal sequence of the agenda. And then also I want to move the minutes, item N, to come before item M, as in Mary. Before the
Reports.
Reports moved before the executive session. Does anyone else have any other changes? Larry, anything?
We have no additional changes, Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
Mayor McFarland, I move to approve the meeting agenda as amended.
Second.
All right, a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the meeting agenda is presented as amended. We have no special presentation tonight, so the consent agenda are all items listed with an asterisk are considered routine matters and will be enacted. One motion, one roll call vote of the council. There'll be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member or member of the public so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence of the agenda. And I did move a couple items, primarily because I want them to be announced. They are events, and I wanted to announce them. There's no particular thing, something bad with them. So, Larry, go ahead.
And Mr. Mayor, we do have an amendment that we want to discuss on item G11. Mr. Gallegos will be prepared to speak.
So there you go. We put it
Perfect.
on the regular agenda.
Exactly.
All right. Good planning. All right, anybody else have anything you want to pull off the agenda from the public or council?
Mayor McFarland, I would move for approval of the consent agenda with the exception of G11 and G16.
Second?
All right, I have a motion and a second. Gloria, can I please get a roll call vote?
Councilmember Edwards.
Yes.
Councilmember Huddleston.
Yes.
Councilmember McBride.
Yes.
Councilmember Fitzgibbons.
Yes.
Councilmember Herman.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Lavender.
Yes.
Mayor McFarland.
Yes. All right, then the next two items on the agenda are going to be G11. We'll take that one first. This is considering street closures for the annual electric light parade on Saturday, December the 2nd, and I expect to see everybody there.
Yeah.
And you have something you need to
Yes, Mayor
correct.
McFarland, Mayor Pro Tem Lavender, members of the council. Unfortunately, in this RCA, there was some omissions of some street closures that I'd like to go over with you for approval. The first one is part of the Second Street. We can see we updated it from here. We're actually going to be posting that online as well, and updating on our different pages. This has not changed from years past, just to let you know. It was just some omissions that happened, so we're not changing anything in case people are curious. But Sacaton to Florence Street, that is for through traffic only, and that will start at 4 o'clock. We'll close off Sacaton so we can divert traffic south so they can avoid the traffic and the parade route. And then from Florence Street to Dry Lake, we actually had requested that, but we actually go all the way to Edmacia, closure as well, and that happens at 4 p.m. as well. And then northbound from the roundabout, Casa Grande Avenue, all the way to Edmacia as well, so we can divert traffic to stay on Main Street so they can go around it. So unfortunately, these were omitted, but it has not changed anything. So.
And you're going to post these on our website, too,
We are
right?
posting them on the website, so we'll go these out. We're actually going to get it to the dispatch
We
as
can
well to make sure
maybe even
that
send it out before the event on our CG alerts.
we'll do that.
Text CG traffic.
CG alerts. Is that a thumbs up? Okay, good, thank you. Okay.
Any other questions?
Anybody have any questions?
Only thing I'd like to add, just because I have the floor, rain or shine, we will do the parade, so there's no confusion and me getting called, 20 times by different
Let's hope it
people
doesn't
that-
rain.
And to hope it doesn't rain, so.
Not again.
First year was a challenge.
Not 2 years in a row. Okay,
Thank you for your
seeing
time.
no other comments, then I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Do I need a roll call vote on this? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, G11 is approved. Thank you, Danny. Next is G16. This is considering, again, closures for the 19th Annual Unity March on Thursday, January 11th. I just wanted to announce it, make sure you all have this on your calendar. There's nothing we need to do on this one. This has all been all good, okay. Other than, again, it's a great event. We have middle schoolers, some elementary schoolers there. It's a great event. It starts at Lincola, and then it comes down the back streets, and then comes up to City Hall, and ends up here, and then there are some speeches and some rallies and stuff. So it's a really good event with a lot of young people there. So if you can attend, please do so. It's on January 11th. Usually starts around noon, doesn't it?
The rally will be at 1 o'clock at City Hall. The students start marching at 12:30.
Okay, so there you go, 12:30 to 1. All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved. Second?
A motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, great. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for indulging me. Next is item H, which is our public comments. This is an opportunity for public to make a comment. I would remind you to, number one, give us your name and your address, and please keep your comments to 3 minutes, not 3.5. Jean? So time yourself. It's 3 minutes, please.
But I have a lot of different things I'm trying to do it all. Oh, boy. Okay. Good evening. I'm Jean Henderson, currently residing on the back of Tom Dower's property at 204 West 9th Street, Casa Grande, Arizona, 85122. Mr. Dower is a Marine veteran of Vietnam, well-known and respected in town. I am leaving a packet of information for you to look through. I was going to have a meeting with Councilwoman Fitzgibbons, but it didn't work out. I don't know what happened. I have a copy of the witness statement from the Flagstaff Police Department. They wanted me to fill out when I was there. They wanted to know why. Sergeant Kelly wanted to know why the police department here never asked me to fill out a witness statement for everything that's been happening to me. Information on the license plates of some of the most recent vehicles of those harassing me. I've had 3 calls to 911 recently, one when I was at Neon Park, and Officer Fox came over and helped, and then when I was over at, being harassed, and then over underneath the library, trying to listen to music, I think, that night. And Officer Mejia came, and there were 2 black cars that came over, and they were threatening me, and one was a black Malibu, and I've seen a black Malibu in the police park, and that when I was first in town, it was a black Malibu that was hassling me, and so I know some people, the sheltered people, who have been hassled by the police in maybe their private vehicles. And at 2:30 a.m., about a week ago, on Mr. Dower's property, one of those people came onto the property and was threatening me and scared me. I ended up trying to get my window shut. I hurt my finger. I've got a brace on it now from Friday. Anyway, I talked to Officer C. Mendez about a day and a half later because my phone was just being put back on, and he told me to call any time that I'm afraid. Officer Mejia said the same thing. 3 of us homeless women were not included in the most recent motel placement that those of us who had been going to the 1 to 2 night a week church shelter nights found out that we had to have attended every single shelter night, and we were not, those 3 of us were not told. We knew nothing about it, so we were left off the list. And these people are going to be in the places through the 30th of this month. I have my little blue truck. The other 2 women are still out sleeping rough in the dirt or wherever, hiding away. They're really scared. And here's a report from unsheltered women of an officer who's been going around raping young indigenous and Mexican American women and having them do panhandling and other things for him. So you can read that. One was going to talk to Lisa, but I don't know if she did because she was afraid something might happen to her. They talk to me a lot of the time, and I learned that instead of about 180, there are about 300 plus homeless on the outskirts of Casa Grande. They're over on the other side of 10. They're over this way and around. They're sleeping in storage units for a night. Okay. I'm going to give you a copy of this anyway. The Halloween festival could have been better if it had been at night. It was really not so great this year. It was just people selling their products and giving out candy. I did meet Officer Ian, and I talked to him there, and I talked to Wendy Lloyd. He said he was going to contact Wendy Lloyd to help me get a place, but that didn't happen yet. Donovan Kramer told me recently he has no idea how to help me with the supposed Arizona Outlaws Car Club. I've given him copies of much, and he has everything. Okay, I went to the senior center when this first happened to me with this cyber stuff. And she called the city attorney, and she said I had to have license numbers or names. So I went over there, and then she said, no, we can't help you. So then I got a lot of licenses, which I put on here, and then I called recently, and she said, we can't help you, call the police. I said, I called the police, and supposedly, I don't know, because I've had imposters calling, Chief McCrory said, Gene, what do you want? And I said, protect and serve. He said, we can't do that. Don't call my officers. Okay, so I didn't know what to do. When I came back from Flagstaff and getting out, I had to get to the cool for a while. I started calling the officers, and they started being very helpful, helping me. Also, Officer McCloskey told me there was an amplifier and tracker inside my truck and told me to leave town.
Jen, you're going to need to wrap it up.
Okay. Well, he needs to be talked to because he's the only one, Officer Green said he can get that amplifier and tracker out of my
You gave this
truck.
information to Mr. Raines, did you not?
I think so.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to be leaving from my home in San Diego, or my friends in San Diego for a while. I think I'll come back if you can help me get this rectified with this group in town that are also harassing some other unsheltered women. I just talked to another young woman tonight. And I just want to say that I was told that it sounds like they are the mean-spirited Casa Grande club called Arizona Outlaws. I call them oath keepers, white nationalists, and dangerous, since they are all over Arizona, because of every place I've gone, they're there. I'm not afraid of them because they're bullies and cowards, and they are, as far as the diagnostic manual, they are mass cyber sadistic sexual syndrome. That's what they have. I don't know what their problem is. I'm not afraid of them, and I'm going to keep keeping information, okay?
Okay,
So I want you to know all of this. I hope you will read all of this.
okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, is there anyone else that would like to address the council? Okay, then I'm going to close the public comment section, and we'll move on to item I, which is award of contracts. This is to consider resolution number 5603. Chief?
Yes, sir. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council. I came to talk to you tonight about resolution 5603. This is a request from the fire department to purchase the 2 additional ambulances. I think you knew about this and you knew it was coming. You already approved this in our CIP budget for this year. It's for the purchase of 2 Crestline Type 1 ambulances. They're Ford F-350 XLTs, Super Duties. They're essentially identical to the other ones that we've already purchased. It is being purchased through Red Sky Emergency Vehicles here in Arizona, utilizing the Sourcewell Cooperative Service Agreement. It's for a total of $980,000. It will not cost that much. We're doing our purchases now where we're putting the outfit on there, so we don't have to come back to you for all the different stuff on there. Everything's outfitted, and when it gets here, it's ready to go after we get it outfitted. So with that, I'm done unless you have some questions.
So Chief, since we've got the CON approved and we stand these up, then can we now officially transport people to the hospital?
Mr. Mayor, just to be clear, we've always been able to transport people to the hospital. The issue was we weren't able to bill for the transport. So in other words, we were providing the service for free. We have essentially been working closely with finance on the billing aspect of it because it's very complicated.
Sure.
Ambulance billing is not easy. It requires a lot of coding, and we already, you guys have already approved us. We've
Add to that software.
taken on the company that's Tyler New World, and ImageTrin is going to handle our billing. So it works hand in hand with our EPCR program that we already have. Really, the complicated portions of it have been, for example, we had a visit from Arizona Access so that we can bill Medicaid for bills. And, you know, during the visit, she said, I need you to show me 20 driver's licenses. Well, I didn't have 20 driver's licenses to show her. So some of the things that they've asked for were a little unusual and more difficult for us to put our hands on. We've provided all that back to them now, and I did get an email from them today that they've got everything from us, and really it's just a matter of getting them to issue the numbers. We've already got our number for Medicare, for federal billing. The service is all done. The only other little bit of a stop is our lockbox. I think that we're having a meeting with Brenda and some of the finance people tomorrow with Mr. Raines to kind of go over the final details of the lockbox. And a couple of small aspects of the billing, like our hardship policy and how they, for example, if somebody dies, do we still want to bill them, stuff like that. So I'm going to get some of those policy decisions from Mr. Raines tomorrow.
Okay. And then the other piece to that is because when we talked about, you know, standing up this ambulance service, one of the reasons was because we have such a high percentage of medical calls, right?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
In terms of the actual fire calls. And so if it's a medical only call, not a fire, then we can just send our one ambulance. We don't have to send the whole fleet over to the house.
That's not completely accurate. We won't be sending the whole fleet. We have a matrix that decides.
I was being facetious.
Yeah,
on the
if
whole
somebody
thing.
calls and says, I just hit my toe on the bed getting up to use the restroom at 3 a.m., we're not sending a bunch of resources out for that. But
Okay.
we still, when we have a code or respiratory arrest or an overdose or a traffic accident, we're still going to send a fire engine and.
Yeah, I
ambulance.
get the I get the traffic accident and stuff, but yeah, I mean, just if somebody needs a medical trip to the hospital.
Correct.
Okay.
And
All right.
we're working with AMR also in coming up with some agreements with them so that we'll still be able to work hand in hand with them to use them for some transports as well.
Okay. All right.
So
Lisa?
Chief, this is the approval of 2 ambulances. Will we have, 5 in the end with the
Yes, ma'am.
CON?
That is
Okay.
correct.
And then are we going to, I'm sure we will, but will we get an actual kind of rollout plan, like kind of when it's going to officially start with everything? I mean, I know you're doing transports, but as far as what, with the whole CON, what's going to happen next?
I haven't got the date from Mr. Range yet. I think he said mid-December that I was going to be doing that in a study session for
Okay.
you guys.
So we will
Okay.
see like some type of rollout plan, what we're going to be doing. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Matt?
When's the new ambulance garage going to be started? I get that question a lot.
Well.
The fence is up.
ambulance
The fence is there.
The trailers are supposed to move in next Monday.
Okay, good.
Okay.
And they're starting the earthwork next Monday. The trailers will
Oh,
move
okay.
in, earthwork. The fence and all that's up.
Yeah,
They were still,
I just want to know when they were actually going to
I
start.
think, the planning commission meeting, I think is the first meeting in December for the final approval on the master site plan and all that. But, yeah, dirt work should start next week.
All right, thanks.
All right. Any other questions? All right. Thanks, Chief.
You're welcome.
All right, seeing no other questions, then I'll call for resolution number, please, Gloria.
Excuse me. Resolution number 5603, a resolution of the council, of the city of Casa Grande, Arizona, accepting a proposal from Red Sky Emergency Vehicles, Inc. for the purchase of 2 ambulances, authorizing expenditure of public funds and authorizing execution of a contract with or purchase order to Red Sky Emergency Vehicles, Inc. in accordance with the terms submitted to Sourcewell.
Mayor McFarland, I move to approve Resolution 5603 as presented.
Second. A motion and a second. Gloria, can I please get a roll call vote?
Councilmember Edwards.
Yes.
Councilmember Huddleston.
Yes.
Councilmember McBride.
Yes.
Councilmember Fitzgibbons.
Yes.
Councilmember Herman.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Lavender.
Yes.
Mayor McFarland.
Yes. All right, moving right along, we'll move to the item 11, which is our public meetings and public hearings. And we'll start with item L1, which is a public hearing to consider ordinance number 1178531.02. Jacqueline, are you doing this one? Oh, sorry, Jim. I didn't see Jim there. Mr. Gagliardi.
Good evening, members of council. So the request in front of you is an amendment to a parcel within the McCartney Center PAD. It's known as Parcel B, identified on the screen there at the northeast corner of McCartney Road and Palomino Parkway. It's approximately 10 acres in size. So within the McCartney Center PAD, you'll notice that there are several parcels that are either designated for commercial, identified in the pink color, and then there's a couple of parcels currently designated for multifamily residential, identified in that gold color. There's about 77 acres of commercial and 25 acres of multifamily. The request in front of you this evening is to revise the 10 acres identified in the black outline from commercial to multifamily. That would have the effect of basically reducing the commercial area within the McCartney Center to 67 acres and increasing the multifamily area to 35 acres. The applicant has provided a conceptual layout of the multifamily area. It would essentially accommodate high-density residential. Now, per the general plan, that could allow up to 24 dwelling units per acre. However, on the conceptual layout provided, it would be more like 20 DUs per acre. They are proposing traditional walk-up apartments. However, the zoning that you're asking to consider this evening, or the amendment to the PAD rather, could accommodate a variety of multifamily uses. Not only just the traditional walk-up apartments that's shown on the conceptual plan, but other high-density residential types could include things such as rented townhomes. The revision would also allow medium-density residential, which per our general plan would be limited to 12 dwelling units per acre maximum, and that would be for development such as build-to-rent or duplexes, triplexes. When reviewing the criteria for amendments to PADs, this list of criteria gets assessed within the staff report, but I'm going to just specifically talk about the highlighted items. The first being the interrelationship of this plan compared to surrounding areas. And basically what that criteria speaks to is compatibility. So currently the area is designated for commercial, just like its counterpart to the east. But to the north is a residential area as well as to the west. To the south, on the other side of McCartney Road, is also designated for residential. The conceptual plan that was provided by the applicant allows us to assess whether or not multifamily development can be accommodated while still helping or minimizing compatibility issues with surrounding areas. Now, along the north property line, about 650 feet of such is adjacent to a retention basin, part of an open space tract. So there's a lot of compatibility there because there are no residents directly to the north in that area. Probably the most sensitive area is the 250 feet in the northeast area because there are about 6 single-family homes that back up to that site. So there was some concern about the potential layout. However, what this conceptual plan shows and what's been programmed as far as development standards as it would apply to multifamily on this parcel is a 50-foot minimum setback from the residential area, within which a 15-foot perimeter landscape buffer would need to be provided. However, when you look at this conceptual layout, they're actually exceeding that by providing a 100-foot setback and a 25-foot landscape buffer. So should they go forward with this plan, it'll more than meet what they're proposing as far as the development standards. I should also point out that as currently approved for commercial, there's a variety of uses that could be constructed with the approval of a major site plan, from restaurants to offices and so forth. So staff does see that the revision from commercial to residential is probably a more palatable use, considering there is residential directly to the north. The other criteria that I want to talk about is traffic, and specifically roadway and whatnot. So this site sits approximately 3/4 of a mile from the I-10 interchange with McCartney. And so it is seen as a good location to accommodate for multifamily because a lot of the residents will have easy access to Interstate 10. The conceptual site plan and with review of our access management standards, we were not promoting an access directly onto McCartney Road. And so they are planning their access from Palomino. So that will help with regard to traffic because there won't be any additional slowing for cars turning onto the site directly. They would have to turn onto Palomino. Now this would get looked at more with the major site plan we would look at a traffic impact analysis and so forth, but there would be a right turn lane constructed to access Palomino. And there would probably be an emergency access onto McCartney, but that would just be limited to the rare occasion that that would be needed. Also, in conjunction with the development, we would require a 70-foot right-of-way dedication of property for McCartney Center right-of-way from the center line. That is one of the recommended conditions of record, however, that should the city need that dedication prior to when would be typical, and the typical time would be at the time of development. The owner of the property would dedicate that land for right-of-way sooner. And that might be ideal in that we are looking at doing McCartney Road improvements from I-10 to Pinnell in the near future. The other criteria that I want to discuss is compatibility with the general plan. So this area is within the neighborhood's land use category. Sites up to 20 acres can have high-density residential development types up to 24 DUs per acre. It also allows medium-density residential types up to 12 DUs per acre. However, as I say, looking at their conceptual plan, which I'm certain they're using to go forward with their major site plan approval, should their PAD amendment be approved, it is closer to a 20 DU product. Another criteria of the general plan that we look at is no more than 20% of the neighborhood's land area within a 1/2 mile radius shall be used for medium or high density developments. Currently, within the 1/2 mile, there are 2 sites already designated for multifamily. That sits within the neighborhood's area. There's a 10-acre site a little bit to the west that is already programmed for multifamily, and then there's a 25-acre site catty-corner to the site to the southwest, but they're at 9% currently, where up to 20% is allowed. With regard to open space and public land dedication, I already touched upon this to some degree on the previous slide, but based on this conceptual plan, they are providing a 25-foot landscape buffer between the single-family area to the north and the parking lot. There would be a 25-foot landscape buffer along Palomino, as well as 15-foot landscape buffer along McCartney. Per the PAD residential design standards, which would apply to this site, they would have to provide a minimum open space of 20%, whereas the conceptual plan provides for 29%. And then, of course, as I already discussed, there would be 70 feet of property dedicated for McCartney Road right-of-way, since the property currently goes to the center line of the road. With regard to the public notification process, staff did send out an initial application and review. And then in addition to that, the applicant did embark on an outreach where they went door to door to talk with residents to see what their concerns would be about an amendment to the zoning to allow multifamily. As a result of those efforts, I actually did not receive a single comment from the adjacent property owners. From feedback that I had received, they had concerns, but they were worked out directly with the applicant and they made revisions accordingly. And that is what ultimately is going to be reflected on the major site plan that would go in front of Planning Commission should this zoning be approved. There was one letter of support that had been previously distributed to City Council from the McCartney Center HOA. That should have been provided to you, but otherwise, all of our notification efforts had been met. At its October 5th meeting, Planning Commission, at a recommendation of 6-0, I apologize for that typo, moved to forward a recommendation to council to approve an amendment to parcel B of the McCartney Center PAD, subject to the following conditions of record. The first deals with the right-of-way dedication, as I was discussing. The second is just affirming the general plan limitation of up to 24 DUs per acre, should this be high-density development. Otherwise, if it's medium density, the maximum allowed density would be 12 dwelling units per acre. And that concludes my presentation.
Mr. Lavender.
James, is 34 feet the height? Is that the normal height for that?
The maximum height of 34, it's typical. As a PAD, you get to set your own development standards. And a typical 3-story building is approximately
Is
that
that the
tall.
plan for 3-story buildings?
Yes.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
No questions, just a comment. I found it interesting that the issue of pickleball and the noise came up in the presentation with P&Z. So it just goes to show that that is on everybody's mind.
You either love it or you hate it. Okay, well, this is a public hearing, so I'm going to open the public hearing to anyone who would like to address the council. This is on our first item L1.
Thank you. For the record, my name is Larry Lazarus, and I represent the applicant in this particular case. Mayor, members of the council, my address is 206 East Virginia, Phoenix, Arizona. With me today is Arthur Walson, entitlements manager for Z Modular, as well as Turan Aikman with STG Design, our architect, and Michelle Green, my senior land use planner that works in my office. Mr. Gigliardi did an excellent job explaining it, so I'm going to be very brief. I just want to make a couple comments. I want to talk a little bit about the neighborhood outreach. I want to talk a little bit about the site plan itself and the quality of the development, which I think is very important. We hired a gentleman by the name of Tom Bilston, who is a consultant. He conducted the neighborhood outreach. He knocked on 71 doors in the area immediately to the north of us, the surrounding properties. One of the concerns we heard, oh, by the way, the pickleball court is out. I like pickleball, but it does make unusual noises. One of the concerns we heard was would these people be using their park that they have adjacent to their house? We explained all of the amenities and the quality amenities that we're going to be having, and I think that was resolved. You'll see those in a minute. I would like to show those to you. In fact, we think the residents would probably want to use our amenities as opposed to our residents using their amenities. While Tom was canvassing the neighborhood, there were some questions referring to another project that was a bit downtrodden in the general area. And as you're going to see from the amenities, I'm going to show you that this is not going to be an issue. We offered a tour of a project they already have in Maricopa, the city of Maricopa. They came to that project. We had members tour. One who lives directly adjacent, one of those 6 or 7 homes that live directly adjacent. They were impressed with the amenities and the quality of the development. In fact, the community manager of the HOA, as has been mentioned, wrote an email to the council indicating that they were in support. One comment was, one of the members said, this beats having commercial trucks backing up to our property. To each his own. The site plan itself, if you can go back to that site plan real quick, as was indicated, it would be 204 apartments. We're only required to have a 50-foot setback from the north property line. We actually have a 95-foot setback, almost 100 feet. There will be additional landscaping, trees, and in fact, one of the neighbors wanted to make sure those trees were not deciduous, and so they will be the types of trees that will not create problems in the general neighborhood. Just a couple more seconds.
Go ahead.
The amenities, there's going to be a pool, spa, outdoor kitchen on the northwest corner of the property. There's a clubhouse. That clubhouse has a sports theater simulator, which has practice golf, football, soccer, and other sports in it. It'll have a fully equipped gymnasium and a lounge area. There'll be a walking trail surrounding the property itself, and there'll be 34 EV parking spaces on the site. The rendering is the last slide I have, and that gives you an idea what it will look like when it's built. It's a 3-story project, as has been mentioned. Has stylized elevations. The building materials themselves are quality, modern. They'll have a modern appeal. There'll be canopies, metal roof elements, wood simulated accents, and I've got a few other slides just showing you some of the swimming pool amenity. Go ahead, just whip through these. This is the clubhouse, gymnasium. Again, clubhouse. And the last couple are what the actual units will look like.
Nice.
And with that, if you have any questions of me or my team, I'd be more than happy to try to answer them.
Questions or comments from anyone? Matt?
Just a quick comment. I want to thank you guys for doing the outreach on your own, because most of the time when we get to this point, most of these things could have been taken care of ahead of time if you just talk to the neighbors, what you guys did, so.
Thank you. It's
a letter,
important to us.
A letter from the HOA is, I mean, that's,
Yeah. It's a big.
We're going to be
pretty
their
big thing.
neighbors. Thank you.
So you're commended for that. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, the public hearing is still open. Is there anyone else here to address this issue, item L1? All right, seeing none, then I'll close the public hearing, and we will call for an ordinance number, please, Gloria.
Ordinance number 1178.53.02. An ordinance of the Council of the City of Casa Grande, Arizona, approving a major amendment to the McCartney Center PAD adopted for property generally located at the northeast corner of McCartney Road and Palomino Parkway, Casa Grande, Arizona, to change land uses on parcel B from commercial to multifamily residential.
Mayor McFarland, I would move for approval of ordinance number 1178.531.02 as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Gloria, can I please get a roll call vote?
Councilmember Edwards.
Yes.
Councilmember Huddleston.
Yes.
Councilmember McBride.
Yes.
Councilmember Fitzgibbons.
Yes.
Councilmember Herman.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Lavender.
Yes.
Mayor McFarland.
Yes. All right, next item is item L2. This is approval of ordinance number 1178.42.
All right, good evening.
Jacqueline.
This request is located at southwest corner of Cadota and Rodeo. It's currently zoned urban ranch, and the request is for planned area development for medium-density residential. They are looking at doing a build-to-rent product here. The conceptual site plan has a proposed 190 residential dwelling units at approximately 10.26 dwelling units per acre. The staff report in the RCA covers all the requirements listed here in the PAD review criteria. I'll be covering the 2 highlighted items. So looking at conformance to the city's zoning ordinance, PAD is an allowable zoning district. The PAD request has the following setbacks that is compatible with our PAD residential design standards. I wanted to note on the west side as well as the south side of the development, they are looking at a 25-foot setback, 50 feet for 2-story dwelling units. However, the conceptual proposal, their 2-story are along the inside and not along the perimeter, so it's approximately 120 feet from the current residential development. They're also looking at a building height of 20 feet, and the site will also incorporate a 15-foot landscape buffer along the perimeter of the site. The 15-foot landscape buffer along the west side of the property will have additional tree planting rows to act as additional buffer area for the residential development to the west. Looking at the city's general plan, this is within the neighborhood's land use category. One of the goals of the neighborhood's general plan is to minimize land use conflicts. And one of the action steps is to promote compatibility between residential developments of different scale by encouraging the use of physical separation or landscape areas to separate adjacent single and multi-story developments. To the east of Cadota, there is a currently zoned and major site plan approval for a higher density development. So this medium density product will act as a buffer between the higher density to the north and east and the residential to the west. One of the other action steps is to increase the amount of medium density housing within the city and encourage the use of medium density residential development as traditional buffers between low density and high density residential developments. The site is also considered an infill site, and medium density development within the city will act as that transitional buffer area. Here are some proposed conceptual elevations of the product. And looking at public notification efforts, this project was initially proposed last spring of 22. Based on our applications and review that were sent out to property owners in March of last year, we advised that they schedule a neighborhood meeting. I did also receive a petition regarding this project in May of 22 with 49 signatures. The owners did put the project on hold until this summer with a new applicant, and prior to resubmitting, a neighborhood meeting was held in July. However, one community member attended that meeting. I did receive notice from other neighbors that they were unable to attend, and I received emails that were attached to the RCA as well as the staff report. Their concerns were related to traffic on Rodeo as well as opposing the rezoning in general. Per staff's analysis of the petition, it did not meet the 20% threshold and does not require a supermajority vote by council. And also at Planning Commission, only one comment was received regarding drainage on the site and in the area, which will be addressed at the time of major site plan. So with that, at the October Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, the commission voted 6-0 to forward a recommendation of approval of the zone change request from Urban Ranch to PAD medium density with our typical right-of-way condition of record. Happy to answer any questions you may have.
Okay. Matt?
What about Rodeo Road? Are they gonna, where pork chops down right there?
Yeah, so they will do the additional right-of-way and
then a
street
pork
improvements
chop
there.
Later.
Why can't we just go all the way?
Larry? Why can't we finish Rodeo Road?
And bill them back. Thanks, Larry.
Matt, you have to have a conversation with Mr. Raines.
I know.
So it would
Okay.
just be,
That doesn't have anything to do with this. So. All right, any other questions? All right, well, this is in Matt in my neighborhood, so, and some other folks' neighborhoods too. I think it's a good use of the land, so. I do have one question, maybe the developers here. The road on the backside, the very southern side, will that, we're gonna ask for that right away, right? Santa Cruz, I think it is?
correct. I believe, what did we? Yeah.
It's the southern end, Santa Cruz there.
So, Mr. Mayor, on the Santa Cruz, you're right. It is a road. We are asking for dedication of the right-of-way. We are not asking this developer to make any roadway improvements for that because they're not putting any traffic on it. There's no entrances.
Okay.
Which actually will, if the road's to be improved in the future, it's going to have to be a city project to improve it. But the right-of-way, we are getting the right-of-way dedicated.
Okay. All right, thank you, Paul. All right, well, this is a public hearing, so I'm going to open the public hearing. Is there anyone here that would like to address the council on this item L2? Please step forward. Give us your name. Try and keep your comments to 3 minutes.
Say that again.
Try and keep your comments to 3 minutes.
I will, thank you. Mayor, that wasn't for you.
That was quick.
Mayor and council members, Matt Warner, property owner and developer with my partner, Mr. Knapp Lawrence. We're excited to bring this project forward. We think it represents a Class A project for the community. A couple things to highlight that Jacqueline did on the presentation. We see ourselves as a buffer from the Indus multi-story, higher density, multifamily project that is across Cadota from us and the planned commercial on the thing. We are a mix of 2-bedroom and 3-bedroom and 1-bedroom apartments. A good portion of 3 bedrooms, there's going to be garages, and we really think that we fit that kind of middle housing element that's needed with where we're targeting. It's going to be amenitized, and I'll be happy to answer any other questions you have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, seeing no one else, then I'll call for an ordinance number, please, Gloria.
Ordinance number 1178.442, an ordinance of the council of the city of Casa Grande, Arizona, amending zoning ordinance 1178 and its subsequent amendments by changing the zoning from urban ranch to planned area development on property located on the southwest corner of Cadota Avenue and Rodeo Road, Casa Grande, Arizona.
Mayor McFarland, I move approval of ordinance number 1178.442 as presented.
Second?
All right, I have a motion and a second. Gloria, can we please get a roll call vote?
Councilmember Edwards.
Yes.
Councilmember Huddleston.
Yes.
Councilmember McBride.
Yes.
Councilmember Fitzgibbons.
Yes.
Councilmember Herman.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Lavender.
Yes.
Mayor McFarland.
Yes. All right, next item is L3. This is ordinance to approve ordinance number 1178.443.
Right, this request is located on Treacle, just north of Bisnaga Street, and it is a zone change request from Urban Ranch to R2. And this is necessary to accommodate a 15-lot replat. The original plat was created in 1964, I believe. And so they're looking to reconfigure the lots and vacate right-of-way to make it a more usable subdivision. The preliminary plat was heard along with this zone change at the October Planning Commission meeting and will come to you pending approval of the zone change at a later date for the final plat. I did want to note that this was created obviously prior to the Certificate of Assured Water Supply Act, and ADWR has indicated that since the lots have not changed, that it will still be able to be created. So with looking at the zone change review criteria, the first one is that it's consistent with the city's general plan, including the goals, policies, and applicable elements. One of the housing goals is to promote the construction of new residential dwellings on vacant infill lots. And one of the guiding principles for land use plan is to increase the range of housing choices and products available to all members of the community. The proposed zone change request meets the request by providing the development of infill site for new single-family homes or potentially duplexes. The second one is a rezoning conforms to the general plan if it proposes land use densities or intensities with the range identified uses of the general plan. And the request to R2 is appropriate for the community corridor land use category. And that the proposed zone change is necessary and proper at this time to meet the land use needs of the residents of the city. Again, this is an infill site, and the zone change to R2 will allow the site to be developed for infill single-family residential development. Regarding notification efforts, staff and the applicant met all the requirements, and I did not receive any comments or inquiries to date. So at the October Planning Commission meeting, the Planning Commission voted 6-0 to forward a recommendation of approval to City Council with the following conditions of approval. I'm happy to answer any questions the City Council may have.
Questions? Bob?
At what point is drainage examined and considered for this area? And I'll go ahead and state the reason for my question. I know this area has a history of flooding. I went out there today, and there's still a small berm just to the north of along the alleyway of the
Of
housing
existing homes?
development that's there right now. And if memory serves, that's because that wash or canal to the north of that has broken or overflowed periodically over the years and flooded that neighborhood. And it concerned me that development may go in and get rid of that small berm. So I just don't know how much study goes into it. I certainly don't want to put the existing neighborhood back at risk.
Yes, so that will be addressed with the final plat. During the final plat process, they will be looking at doing the Clomar-Lomar with FEMA to get the lots above the 100-year floodplain. And per our guidelines, they cannot make the flooding worse on other property. So that will be addressed as part of the final plat.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's a good question, because I had the same concern, but I figured it would be addressed at one point in time. Anybody else have any other questions? Okay. Seeing none, then this is a public hearing, so I'm going to open the public hearing for item L3. If there is anyone here who would like to address the council.
Good evening, Mayor McFarland, council members. My name is Tim Hansen with Hansen Engineering, 115 South Main Street in Coolidge, Arizona. Thank you for hearing this tonight. I don't have much to add. The staff report was pretty thorough, but I would like to thank Director Tice and Ms. Sarnowski for all their help and valuable input as we worked together through this. And we humbly ask that you approve the zoning request as presented tonight.
All right.
That's all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else here who'd like to address this item?
I haven't been here for a while to speak, so. Gloria Johnson Story, 1245 East Laurel Drive, Casa Grande, Arizona, 85122. As a homeowner on Rodeo Road, that whole area is of concern, and I did speak with the developers and Mr. Griffiths at the last planning and zoning meeting, and I was excited, and I said, this is the kind of development I want to see. However, living on Rodeo Road years ago, it was totally flooded. So my concern was the flooding coming back, because it is a floodplain. But I was assured, as Jacqueline said, they were going to address how they were going to do this at the time that it was submitted. But to me, it's a great idea. It's a great place to develop, and I can't say enough good about it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Gloria.
Thank you. All right, anyone else? Okay, seeing none, I'm going to close the public hearing, and we'll call for an ordinance number, please, Gloria.
Ordinance number 1178.443, an ordinance of the council of the city of Casa Grande, Arizona, amending zoning ordinance 1178 and its subsequent amendments by changing the zoning from urban ranch to multifamily residential on property generally located on Treco Road, approximately 200 feet north of Bisnaga Street, Casa Grande, Arizona.
Mayor McFarland, I move to approve ordinance number 1178.443 as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Gloria, can I please get a roll call vote?
Councilmember Edwards.
Yes.
Councilmember Huddleston.
Yes.
Councilmember McBride.
Yes.
Councilmember Fitzgibbons.
Yes.
Councilmember Herman.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Lavender.
Yes.
Mayor McFarland.
Yes. All right, next item then is item N, which is our reports. And Anthony, I'm going to start with you.
No reports. No reports.
All right?
Yeah.
Donna?
Wow, just something real quick. Hats off to the chamber. They had a great event for the greatest of Grande. Congratulations to Mr. Lavender, who represented us so well. Attended the Leadership Academy graduation. Scott and Heather and all of them did a great job. It was nice to see so many people there and interested in taking a more active approach to our community. And then just a reminder, it's the season, bell ringing is now going to be taking place, Salvation Army, so they need volunteers, so please go out and help ring some bells for Salvation Army. And while you guys are all shopping on Black Friday, I will be ringing the bell at Fry's on Pinal, so please come out and help me out. So that's it.
Matt?
Thank you, Mayor. Just had to say happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Have a good, safe holiday. And congratulations to our #1 greatest of the Grande council member, Jeff Lavender. Seems like the strong, silent type.
That's a Mr. Powell tap, by the way.
Thank you.
Mr. Lavender.
Well, thank you. Couple items. Congratulations to the Pride of Casa Grande. Our Casa Grande Union won the state band championship this year. We're real proud of the team for that. And I wanted to highlight one of the new activities we have this year at Casa Grande Union is a skeet and trap shooting team. And our skeet team has already won the state championship, and our trap team was state runners-up. And on Saturday, we did a demonstration with them, and I had a competition against their top shooter, Alexis Fernan, who's one of the top shooters in the country. And I hit 6 of the 25 targets, and she hit 24 of the 25. So the bet was that if I lost, I had to give her my job for a day. So on Monday, I will be unemployed, and she will be the superintendent. So, very impressive. And also, another new sport we had this year was girls flag football. Kayla Tacker, who's a freshman, was our regional player of the year. Nisi Armstrong, who's also a freshman, was the defensive player of the year. And Kevin White was the coach of the year. So we're real proud of all that. Excellent. Recognizing them.
Congratulations. Lisa?
You know, I'm going to go back to, Jeff, I was at the marching band competition, and I am just so proud. And the reason is I had 3 daughters that went through that program. I was a band booster for 8 straight years. So I have seen the work that this band puts in. And I just had to be there. When I've seen Hebda a couple times, and I just wanted to make sure I was there. And so, it's just such a big deal. It's their first championship, and I was just so glad to be there because I just know how hard. And Mr. Hebda and his staff, and what's so great about Hebda and a lot of these sports, like Kevin White coming back and coaching, he has a staff, a group of people that work with him. And a couple of them are students that went through the program. They were in the band with my kids that, help him with, put together the show, manage, and, they live in the Phoenix area. They're professionals and have full-time jobs and do that on the side. So I'm just so happy to see him. It's so well-deserved, and just so happy to be there to experience it. They did a fantastic job. So congratulations. As you can see, I'm very passionate. I'm a band mom through and through. But, so the flower planting with the city attorney's office, that was so nice. And Jeff, having all the students there and you speaking and our other superintendent and Tisa Ellsworth did a great job with the kids. So very, very nice. And the flowers look great outside. The Leadership Academy, again, great event. It was so nice talking to some of these participants. The ones that I talked to are new to Casa Grande. I mean, they are, have been here probably under 2 years and just were interested in learning about the city and had a lot of questions. And I had some great discussions with them. So I know the academy is now open again and accepting applications again. I think I saw on CG Alerts. Yeah. So, and then happy Thanksgiving to everyone. I know there's a lot going on in town. Seeds of Hope is going to have the Thanksgiving meal on Thanksgiving Day at the Elks Club from, I believe it's from 11 to 2:30. So please send anyone, that doesn't, have anywhere to go to the Elks Club. And, St. Vincent and some of the churches are also giving out food baskets to our community. So happy Thanksgiving. Next time I see you, I'm going to have my first grandchild, I hope, so. Couple days.
Bob?
Mayor, I can report that I got a new phone today, and I've been unable to download my calendar from the cloud, so I don't know where I'm going or where I've been. But I did notice two things in our city manager's report that I'd like to comment on. The first was, I think, our first user report from the CG link from Deb Bruner. And I wanted you to know how much I appreciated receiving that. And it is very reassuring. We've got some people that are using it. I thought the most interesting was how many trips to the grocery store. And that's people that may not have gone, if they hadn't had this option. So I am anxious to see these on a regular basis. Very interesting, very enlightening. And I also wanted to comment on a thank you letter that was received by Kevin Lewis, our Public Works Director, from Casa Grande Lakes Community Association. It was about a phone call where some curbing and gutter, I think, that was damaged and needed replacing. And they named Ricardo Carranzo, Oscar Orduno, Ryan Perita, and Jose Montijo as being city employees with interest, kindness, and general interest in their work and performing that repair. So congratulations to those guys. It was a letter that was very well received and appreciated. That's all.
Kevin, please give them our congratulations too. That's, usually we get complaints. It's nice to get a compliment every once in a while. All right, good. And on the CG Links, 121 people in one day.
You know,
That's unbelievable. So that's phenomenal.
and it's so nice seeing those.
They look really
See 'em all around.
nice. They look really nice.
Yeah, no, I have seen them all over town, so. Well, my reports, just a couple of them. Gene Lehman's memorial service is tomorrow. Actually, at 11 o'clock, it's at Trinity Southern Baptist Church. So if you want to say farewell to Gene and help his family through it, please attend. Also tomorrow afternoon, and this is an invitation to every council member, if you are so interested, at 4 o'clock, all the Boys and Girls Clubs will be handing out pumpkin pie and milk to all the kids. So it only lasts about 30 minutes, so it's not a lot of your time. If you want to go, we have them at McCartney Ranch. There's Lynn Cola Center. There's the Rec Center. There's Ironwood. So pick one and be there at 4 if you'd like to help out, because you were invited. So I'll be at the main branch, so if you don't want to see me, don't go there then. Last week we had our I attended the ATRA meeting, which is actually the Arizona Tax Research Association. It was rather interesting. They're usually not. We're kind of usually on opposite sides from them. So, but it was good to interact with them, have an opportunity to hear what their agenda is for next year, and it is not something that is good for us. So we need to keep an eye on them. Also. Had our Sun Quarter Metropolitan Executive Board meeting last week. It'll be my last one to chair. So I'll be moving off of the chairmanship of that. Thanks, Matt. And then we had the Mayor's Reading Club last week, too. It was good to get out and see the kids at Choya Elementary for me and the kindergartners. And they always... reading to young people is always a lot of fun. So we have some good kids, and we just need to keep them that way and make sure we keep them engaged. We had our first Casa Grande Elementary School Foundation Board meeting last week. So I got off one board or as a chair, and now I'm on another board as a chair. So anyway, I'll be the chairman of that. It's really to kind of work with our elementary schools and our middle schools to really support and enhance the quality of education, provide resources and opportunities for our kids. So I think it's a good program. I look forward to getting a little more involved in that. And then I also had our PRTA board meeting last week, which I am the chair of also. And that's the Pinal Regional Transportation Authority. Try not to use acronyms. And we approved an IGA, intergovernment agreement with Pinal County to hire a general manager for the PRTA to begin develop a new plan. and also to help the county pass their road maintenance tax, which is coming up in '24. We also announced the approval of a 505 planning corridor, which is the new loop system that we're proposing for Pinal County. So you'll get more information on that, but we have secured a number, and it was approved by the ADOT Road Naming Committee, which hasn't met in 10 years. And so I got them to convene. We went to the meeting, we proposed some numbers for the program, and they approved it. Now it goes to the State Transportation Board for approval. So we still have one more hurdle, and then the governor has to approve it. But that's a new, so you got the 101, the 202, the 303. They didn't want to give us the 404, so they gave us 505. So we can own the 505. So anyway, that's pretty big news. It took about a year to just get that to happen. So now we can move forward and start to kind of build a plan. That's probably enough. We did the Leadership Academy last week, so congratulations to all our Leadership Academy grads. I know Lisa was there, Donna was there. Thank you guys for being there. And of course, the greatest, the Grande, which we already mentioned. And that's probably enough. Yep, that'll do it. Anything else?
Go Sun Devils.
Oh.
Really?
Really?
You're right.
Hockey?
Yeah, they're number 12. I was there
All right.
yesterday.
Let's root for the hockey team. All right, I need to go into executive session, so I'll need a motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, we'll stand adjourned for a few minutes to let everybody go home. We thank you. Thank you, everybody, for being here tonight.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.